Well, good afternoon, metalheads and rockers. As you know, I'm Al Ditton. I'm with Underground Noise Webzine. If you're not keeping your horns up for metal rock, you're doing it completely wrong. Today is Webisode number 114. I'm interviewing Carys Serries from the band called Riata. Welcome, Carys. How you doing today?
I am great. How are you?
Complain? No one likes a complainer, do they? But the first question I would like to ask you is, what does the name Riata translate out to?
So it's Gaelic for the Scottish. I apologise if anyone can't understand me. I'll try and speak clear. But it's the Gaelic overkingdom of different parts of Scotland and Ireland.
That's actually really interesting. I never knew what it meant because I seen the band name one day and I listened to you guys on YouTube. I don't know too much about you guys, but you guys have a unique sound.
We, I'm the one that writes most of the music. Like we kind of split it. Like the guys will write their solos and stuff. And a couple of songs are written by our guitarist Scott. Um, but it's mostly me that writes the music. And like my two favorite genres are melodic death metal, technical. Sorry, free melodic death metal, technical death metal, same kind of thing. And power metal. So I try and combine them. I picked the
That's,
saddest and happiest genres and thought, let's try and make that a thing.
yeah, that's really cool. I like death metal myself, but today I decided to wear Scooby Doo instead of a death metal shirt. Oh,
Death metal, so
yeah, I guess. I mean, why not? Some people are like, oh, you got a Zyklon tattoo. See,
yeah,
I'm sure you remember Zyklon.
yeah.
Yeah, they were a hell of a band for a while.
I've got Omnium Garaldum tattooed on the back of my neck, so
Hey, why not? Whatever makes you feel good, right? Well, let me ask you this. I know about the band Scored a Tour and you guys from Scotland. Are there any other bands over there?
yeah, like Scotland's got like a massive like metal music scene. You've got Party Cannon. Don't know if you've heard of them.
Yeah, I know Party Cannon.
Party Cannon, Bleed from Within. Um, they, I guess you could kind of count Ailstorm. Not a big fan, but that's it. Who else? You've got like King Nobody. There's a lot of like up and coming bands that are just fantastic.
Gonna have to check these guys out. I haven't heard the name Party Cannon in quite some time.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind
Although
of?
do I was going to get myself a pair of the booty shorts earlier. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they got the best logo.
Well, whatever floats your boat, right? Some people like t-shirts, some people like booty shorts. Hey, we're all different in our own way. So, who came up with the name Dalriata?
Get ourselves a. What is it, sorry?
Oh, I was saying, who came up with the band name Dalriata?
Our original singer. I wasn't always vocalist. Uh, I'm the only original member left. Like I started the band, but I was only doing bass. When we started. Um, and it was our original singer. He's actually from Texas, funnily enough. So, but he came up with the name Dalriata and it stuck. We did like briefly change your name to what's it, Deafin, I think it was. It's a river. But then we realised that's an absolute silly choice considering if you look up Deafin, it will like even Deafin band or metal band or whatever, it's going to just come up with death. So we changed it back to Dalriata.
Oh, wow. That sounds really interesting. Do you have one of your bases nearby?
In the other rooms, unfortunately.
Okay, I wasn't
um,
sure if you had one nearby or not, because usually I have this section that I call Show Me Your Axe, where it's basically people showing their guitars or their basses.
well, if you give me a second, I can message my flatmate to bring it in for me.
All right, that's cool. Everybody, this is the section where we call it "Show Me Your Axe." Carys is going to go get one of her basses so we can see what it looks like. Looks like you play with a 5-string, right?
6 string.
Oh, it's 6. Okay, that's cool.
But I'll put the phone down just very briefly and I'll go get it. Like, I'll be back in a second.
While we're waiting, we can hear the sirens in the background today. I paused the recording so that way you could go get your bass.
Yeah, I can go get it. Sorry, it's a bit.
That's all right. That's right.
It's because I'm sitting on my bed, so it's just that way I'm like fumbling about.
No worries.
There we go.
Oh, look at that. That's rad.
The Colin again. Yeah. So
what kind of
so
bass?
this is section bass, and it's Ibanez SR. The I got that because I really wanted a 6-string, and our guitar is 7 strings as well. So it was just kind of 7, I think 7 and 8. So it was just kind of like, well, what better excuse to get a 6-string? And but it was a bit plain looking for me, so I just got like stickers off Amazon and jazzed it up a bit. But yeah, it's like my favorite bass.
That's awesome. Are there any bands that you like to do covers of on your bass by yourself or say in your band?
So like Obscura, Allegiant. I'm trying to learn Archspire now. it's going okay.
I heard Obscure is pretty tough to learn.
Yeah, like I actually don't find it that bad, to be honest. Like I would say because it's more progressive, I find it a bit easier. But like compared to like some Allegiant songs, like Threshold of Perception and like like just Arcspire in general, like that, I find that really tough.
That's cool. My next question for you, Carys, is
Um,
how did you learn how to growl?
oh, so after we had as I said, we had our original vocalist and like a few members left at that point, just because they wanted to make the band more metalcore and stuff like that. But that just wasn't really that's not why I started the band. I wanted the band to be more melodic death metal slash like tech death. The power metal aspect came into it later, but with that, they left. They went to form a different band, and I looked for new members. So with that, it was just we had a couple of folk try out, um, and they were part of the band for a while. But we kind of had a couple of different lineup changes, just with either being like technical quality or just general band problems. Um, and it got to the point where it was just the band ended up just not like it was back to just being me. And then I met Scott, but I was speaking to Scott and he was like, I play metal guitar. So we worked on things, just sending things back and forth. Like during lockdown, we recorded Scott's also like a sound engineer and stuff like that. Like he's the one that like he tracks us all and mixes and masters everything, and like Scott's a wizard. um, and he like before when we were talking about like the chord and songs and stuff like that, it was like, and then we'll look for new members. Uh, I decided, you know what, I think I'm just going to learn vocals. I was like, it makes it a bit easier having four members instead of five because there's like so many conflict schedule problems and things like that. It was just like makes it so much easier having four members instead of five. And screw it, I can do it. So I just practiced. I picked what was it? It was the Legion 1.618 and Arch Enemy Nemesis, and I just kept doing it. Like I just kept practicing until I could do it. Like I'm completely self-taught. Um, Probably shows sometimes.
Well, if
But
you guys,
eventually I got okay enough that well Scott deemed me okay enough to record, and then we moved forward on that basis.
that's really cool. I was gonna say, well, if you guys ever do a Cannibal Corpse cover, which one would you like to do?
Um, if we had to, we've actually discussed doing a Cannibal Corpse cover before. We would probably, when it comes to covers, like we very rarely do them, but when it comes to covers, we usually go for what would like the most audience, like what will people in the audience mostly recognize. So of course we need to go with Hammer Smash Face, and like we're going to be doing a just a fun cover at our next gig because it's our mate's birthday. It's in a band. He's going to be doing guest vocals with us, and we're going to do Diggy Diggy Hole.
Yeah, sometimes those things happen, you know. So how do you keep from losing your voice? What gives you energy? Like how do you sustain your energy while you're on stage?
Fear.
Fear?
um, I don't know. I just love playing live. Like I've like in previous bands and stuff like that, we used to do like 1 hour sets and things, and like I used to be in a tech death band, so it was just I don't know. I find like that Riata like less effort than that if you get me, because it's not about technicality or anything. It's just about having fun. Um, so when it comes to sustaining my voice, like essentially just not rehearsing on the day
Yeah.
or even the weekend usually. Like I'll practice leading up to a gig and stuff like that, but like if I'm playing a gig on the Saturday, I will not be practicing like the Friday, Thursday beforehand. Speaking sure, like we've done that actually it wasn't our a couple of gigs ago we ended up in a spot where we were just all like we couldn't find a time where we're all available to practice. So we did end up doing on the day practice, and instead of doing like grills, guttles, during the songs, I just spoke the words.
That would be
So it
rough.
made us think, but yeah, I guess I was doing a terrible impression of William Shatner, but it worked. So
William Shatner, huh? There's a name that you don't hear very often.
that and drink milk and honey, the old school remedy of just not screwing your vocal cords.
Yeah, there's been times where I've done it a little bit too loud and I'm just like talking like Peter Steele the next few days and I'm just like, forget it. And I've just
Yeah, like
people, so
every time we play a gig, I'm like tanning milk like Homelander. Like it's just
well, I was gonna say stay hydrated, drink a lot of water. That usually helps a lot too.
yeah, definitely. That and our band's kind of like fueled by Monster Energy drink. So, except from Dan, he's the healthy one. He just lives in bananas.
Yeah, bananas are definitely a good source of potassium and magnesium. They actually help a
Yeah.
lot. But my next question for you is name your top five favorite death metal bands.
Oh God. Don't know if I could choose the top five. Like so, Obscura, Insomnium, um, Legion. The bands I mentioned a lot. Uh, Zenith Passage, and of course Death Clock.
Death Clock's pretty good. They're like that melodic
Yeah,
band from that show Metalocalypse, right?
it's my favorite show.
I haven't
Favorite
watched
movies. I'm counting down the days to the new season.
I haven't watched that show in years. I used to watch that on Adult Swim along with Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh, I've not heard of that one.
Yeah, it's about this fry box and Master Shake and a meatball called Meatwad and a neighbor named Carl who wears a blue top, blue sweatpants and sandals.
Yeah.
It's a pretty weird show, but at the same time, that was like after Metalocalypse was on. Then there was Robot Chicken, so they're all pretty.
I'll need I just always what's it like? I saw the memes and stuff like that as a teenager, and then I just like googled it, like where to watch it for free. And I think they had episodes on YouTube as well. And then I bought the box set and stuff like that. I've rewatched it so many times. But I love Metalocalypse.
I can imagine so. So where do you guys see yourselves in the next 5 years?
But we're trying to move out of just playing Scotland. Next year we've got a couple of English gigs booked, but we're mainly trying to move into the mainland, especially because melodic death metal, like that's predominantly our genre, as much as we've also got those power metal influences. It's not exactly big in the UK. There's about 6 bands. um, a couple of studio projects, but like 6 band live bands, if you get me.
Mhm.
And that's for the whole of the year. And most of them are based, like in London, because that's the biggest populace, like biggest city. So mainly it's like other northern European countries. So you've got like Finland, Norway, Sweden, etc. Like that's where melodic death metal is a lot bigger, and that's where you're more likely to find more fans. So that's where we're trying to get to. Of course, like Brexit happened, and that's made that extremely expensive now. Need to pay for like what's that? I think it's like visas. There's also like merchandise, taxes and things like that. That's an absolute nightmare. But we're hoping that in a couple of years' time that becomes less of an issue. I don't know. Like it has made it really difficult for like UK artists to go touring and then vice versa as well.
So are you guys working on an album or you guys have one out yet?
We've got enough songs for like, about 10 albums. I think my like finished folder's sitting at like 60 songs or something. My unfinished folder's sitting at like 200. But it's just trying to get the time to like get us all over at Scott's house and track everything. Um, but we should have an EP out the beginning of next year, and then I think we're doing the album. Like we've just been trying to make sure we have the best material, like our strongest songs, all of them, rather than having like a couple of strong songs and then kind of like we want to make sure everything's a banger on it. And it's been a
Absolutely.
long time as well, so
You got to milk faces, you know what I'm saying? That's what death metal is all about, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
definitely. Like need to save up money as well for because I think Scott's a perfectionist, which is great, um, but not for timelines. So it's just that way we've all agreed like definitely best getting someone else to like mix. If we do an album, we need to get someone else to mix it, or it'll come out in about 15 years.
Well, let me ask you this question, Karis. How do you feel about the death metal scene nowadays? Do you think it's a lot stronger than it used to be from when it first started?
um, yes and no. Like I've got quite a controversial opinion on that. Um, I think like a lot of the sort of old school sound is coming back. Like for specific subgenres of death metal, definitely. Like old school death metal, brutal death metal, um, even like deathcore, for example. Like I feel like those scenes are going really, really strong. Um, Especially like in the UK, just kind of I'm not gonna say died, but like, you know, very few bands. But you've got like Ingested, you've got Death Collector that's just came out. Like, honestly, it's been awesome this year for music. But with I guess again we other subgenres. So like as I mentioned with melodic death metal, um, like it's kind of it's a weird one because the bigger bands in it are getting older, and the don't even really want to talk about Winter Sun in that one, but but
Boys.
um, the releases aren't I wouldn't say haven't been the best lately. But I noticed there's other bands, like especially in the US, there's a lot of like bands doing what we're like the bands that tend to get that seem to be getting traction are doing like kind of what we're doing as well, where you're combining mellow death with a different subgenre. Um, like Dragon Corpse is a fantastic band. They're combining like death metal, deathcore with power metal. And it's turned out of this sort of like anime awesome thing.
Check
Bloodstained
it
Child.
out.
Oh sorry, they're one of my top five melodic death metal bands actually. I love the Zenith Passage, but they're getting booted out for Bloodstained Child. They're amazing. They're melodic death metal slash EDM.
That's good to know.
Yeah, they're awesome. Like they're one of my favorite bands, and but yeah, like even they're making a comeback, and it's just so I find like a lot of people are experimenting with new with ideas from different genres, and I feel like that's revitalizing the scene a bit. Um, but there's also still appreciation for older bands, but I do feel like metal's kind of became stagnant a bit. Where even like when it comes to festivals, if you get me, you see the same bands that have been going about for 40 years headlining every year and things like that, and not much new talent getting lifted up or getting given more of a chance. But I do think things are getting better in that regard.
I totally dig it. I'm not too big on deathcore, but everybody likes what they like. So if you enjoy deathcore, that's great for you, but it's just not my cup of tea.
I don't know what it is. Used to hate deathcore and slam,
I
and
like
in the past year, I've just got super into it.
I like some slam. I mean, I like bands like Internal Bleeding, Fetal Embalmment, Gape. There's a few to name. Big shout out to my friend Brendan Jackson from Fetal Embalmment. What's up, brother? Yeah, he's actually in my band called Nightmare Crypt, and we're working on a demo right now. Then we're gonna do an album afterwards.
That's awesome.
Yeah, can't wait till it's all finished. You know, it's bits and pieces right now, but at the same time, we're placing everything together, kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. You know, you got to put that puzzle together, got to fit the right piece in the right spot, otherwise it's not going to fit.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't fit, you can't force it.
Mm.
You know?
No, definitely. Yeah.
Well, I have a few last questions for you here, Carys. I really don't have too many questions, but what would you like to say to your fans that might be listening?
Um. Hi. Come here, gig on the 19th of August at Ivory Blacks, and the next couple of gigs after that are also brilliant. We're supporting Ephemere, French melodic death metal band. They're absolutely amazing, and we're supporting Fellowship and Ascension for all the Lord of the Rings fans. So, two
Great.
very different gigs. We apply to both. So.
Right on, Carys, right on. Well, final question. Do you have any final words for Underground Noise Webzine?
Thank you for having me, and it's so awesome, like what you're doing with giving bands, like a platform and stuff like that. Like that's awesome.
You're welcome, and thanks for giving me a portion of your time today. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Cool.